Hey y'all, it's the wine loving bookworm back with your Sunday night book review on a very rainy, cold night here in Florida. It's literally been raining all day, and I think it's supposed to continue through the night. I don't mind the cold, I don't mind the overcast, but the rain kind of gets old after a while. So let's start off with the wine. Okay, this was a BOGO at Publix. I think I've talked about BOGOs at Publix before. It's called the Velvet Devil, so that's a fun name. It's a Merlot, and it's from Washington State. I have learned a little bit about all the pesticides being used on wine and how much of it actually gets into the finished product. I've been trying to avoid American wine because that's a lot of where it is. But this was a fun name. Washington State. I love Washington State, so I decided to take a chance. Anyway, let's give it a shot. Cheers. That's pretty good for a BOGO. It's not bad if you like Merlots. That is a pretty good wine, and I don't know what the regular price was, maybe around $12 or so a bottle. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so let's move on to the book. This week I read The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. It's fiction. I looked up a little bit about the author. She's a British author, which you can tell from the book. It's definitely British. She specializes in psychological / crime / thriller books. She previously, when she first started out in her career, wrote children's fantasy books. The Woman in Cabin 10 was actually, CBS acquired the film rights, but that was a couple of years ago, and I don't know if that means CBS, like it's going to be a made-for-TV movie, or if that means, it's going to be like a regular in the theater movie. I could see this being a movie. I'm not sure if it's enough to get in the theaters, but who knows these days. She also wrote In a Dark, Dark Wood, which I've never heard of, but I think I might look it up. And that one also has been acquired for film rights by Reese Witherspoon's company. She focuses on a lot of women-driven, works, whether it be the writer, the star. In this case, it would be both. This book in particular was nominated for a 2016 Goodreads Choice Award and a 2016 Book of the Year finalist selected by Book of the Month. Okay, I'm on Goodreads, but I don't know what that other one is. So anyway, the basic outline of the story is about a reporter, Laura Lowe, that's her nickname, Blacklock, and she's a travel writer. I guess it's kind of a reporter, but travel writer. She works for, I think, a magazine, and she's kind of stuck in her job. She doesn't really love it. She doesn't see a lot of room for advancement, and she's pretty much an alcoholic. She drinks a lot all the time. So anyway, in this particular story, her boss ends up in the hospital, so she is able to go on a really plush assignment because her boss can't go. And it's basically a luxury cruise, very exclusive. There's like 10 or 12 rooms, everything included, just very small boat. So she's real excited about this. She thinks this is a great thing. So the first night she's there, when she's getting ready to go down to dinner, she knocks on the door next to hers, and there's a woman there, and she asks if she can borrow some mascara, and the woman was like annoyed at her, but was like, here, just take it, I don't need it. So she doesn't think anything of it, but she doesn't really see her that night at dinner. So she goes back to her room. She drinks too much, as is her usual, and she falls asleep. And I think at like 3 o'clock in the morning, she hears like an argument happening next door in the room where she got the mascara from the woman. And then she hears what she feels like is a body being thrown overboard. I don't know how you feel like you hear a body being thrown overboard. I don't know what that sounds like, but that's what she thinks. And there's kind of like, she goes out on her balcony, and there's kind of like a privacy screen here, but she can like look around it, and there looks what seems to be blood on the sliding glass door. So she kind of freaks out. She calls security. The security guy comes, he's a little dubious of her, and he tells her there's no one in that room. Like, no one is in that room. The guy that was supposed to be there canceled at the last minute, so there's no one in there. And she's like, I know, I saw somebody in there. And nobody knows what she's talking about. They take her around to look at, some of the workers on the cruise to see if maybe that was who she saw. And she's just like, no, that's not who I saw. And everybody's like, there's no one in there. So And then they kind of are like, how much did you drink last night? Blah, 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 blah. So that's the basis of the book. Like her trying to figure out who this woman is, where she went. Did somebody get killed in that room? So, it's basically a mystery, which, to be honest, is not necessarily my favorite kind of book. But I did really like this book. I thought it was, we're not talking, Shakespeare or Dickens here, but it was engaging. It was a quick read. I couldn't put it down. I read it in like 2 days. So again, what I liked about it, quick read, engaging, very fast. And I didn't figure it out. I was really reading it because I was like, what? Where's this going? Where are we going with this? And so I didn't really figure it out till the very end. And I thought that to me is a hallmark of a good book, in my opinion. Maybe other people will figure it out and they'll think it's stupid, but in my opinion, I couldn't figure it out and I thought it was good. What I didn't like, again, there's not a lot of depth to it. This is like a beach read, I didn't love her relationship with her boyfriend. It was very distracting. He didn't seem to have a role in the book. It was very odd. I just didn't like that. It was distracting from it. And some of it seemed a little unrealistic. The power this guy in particular in the book wielded, it just didn't seem realistic. So that's a couple things I didn't like about it. But I would really, I would suggest you read it. I would recommend it. I think it was a good book for what it was. And I was pleasantly surprised. My mom recommended it to me, and we don't usually have the same taste, although we're kind of getting more similar over the years. So I was pleasantly surprised with it. I thought it was good. So, The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. Check it out. Okay, so next week, I'm going to read Girl Wash Your Face. I know y'all have heard about this book. It's like all over social media. Everybody's... at first, everybody was like clamoring about it, saying how wonderful it was, but I've heard a lot of mixed reviews lately that a lot of it, why I didn't, little blog posts like why I hated this book and blah, blah, blah. So I'm very interested to see what I think about it. I think it'll be a pretty quick read, and then I'll get through it pretty fast. So that is for next week. So yeah, this is a short one tonight because I just kind of like this book. I think you should pick it up. Again, The Woman in Cabin 10. Also, that's a lot of rain you're hearing on the roof. The Velvet Devil, Merlot. I think the BOGO, I also got like a cab or something too. Maybe, I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, pick it up. And everybody, I hope that you have a great week. And thanks for tuning in to me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will see you next Sunday. Cheers!